5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the HIT.OR.DIE podcast with your hosts, Jake Saldati and Chad Rothford.
Hello.
November 1st, Monday.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yeah. Hope everybody had a good time. I know we did. I know CJ would still be going right now.
Probably still be knocking on doors.
He does not want to stop.
He's got a different motor.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
He's got a different
It's
motor.
ridiculous. Like golf on Mondays, soccer practice Thursday, ninja class on Saturday morning, soccer game Saturday afternoon, and he still goes. It's just, at first I was like, dude, he's in too much stuff. But no, he just won't stop, which is fine. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, happy Halloween, everybody. It's Monday, November 1st. And yeah, we appreciate you staying with us. We've been going live a lot, so this is different. Finally recording one and can kind of catch your breath and take your time with it a little bit.
No, it's been a long week, you know.
It took like 4 days for me to bounce back. That's how I know I'm getting old.
I mean, well, you know, we went to game 1 of the World Series. You think about it, that's a long 36-hour trip. Like, you know, drive to San Jose Monday night, fly out early Tuesday morning. We were at the ballpark for almost 12 hours or 10 hours or whatever, and then fly back in the morning on Wednesday. It was just, and then drive back from San Jose. It's just ridiculous. And then I had to work the next morning at 4. I mean, we literally, you were talking about, we got like maybe 8 hours of sleep in 2 days.
Yeah. It was all right, though. It was worth it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. Please go follow on Twitter at HIT.OR.DIE Podcast, on Instagram at HIT.OR.DIE, also Facebook, and definitely the YouTube challenge is
It's there.
It's there. It's not going anywhere, ever.
Nope.
But we will continue to say it. News. You're just talking about Bob Melvin.
Yeah.
Looks like he's tabbed as the new San Diego Padres manager.
It surprises me, but it didn't, like, when I think about it, it doesn't, like what he's done with like Oakland.
Yeah, he wasn't brought up in any like conversations of potential guys going to anywhere.
I didn't even know his contract was up with the A's.
Was locked in with the A's. Apparently not. But he's a good manager.
He's a great manager.
He's done a great job in Oakland. And I think he'll do a great job in San Diego.
I mean, let's see what he does now with like big time talent, you know. Oakland has talent, but they've also had to do it with homegrown players, with, you know, a low budget, you know, the Moneyball thing or whatever. Let's see what he does now with, you know, big time talent in San Diego with an opportunity to make the postseason and World Series.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that. I'll be interested to see who now goes into Oakland.
It might be a young guy.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people are tabbing, you know, where's Ron Washington going to end up?
He don't want to go to Oakland. I mean, isn't that where he started coaching?
He was there.
I know he's been there.
He was there. I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. There's a handful of candidates that, you know, like I said, Melvin was not on the list for San Diego's job, so it'll be interesting to see who is looking to get into Oakland, and maybe it is for somebody younger that's looking to
fail.
That's what this game is about, I guess.
Yeah,
but
right.
yeah, I mean, there is some talent there. I always like watching the A's.
I do too.
And they just, it's been coming down, like it's the down the stretch part that they just can't seem to finish there at the end to get in. They've been close. So yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes out to see who will step in Oakland. The other one was this morning, and it came out for Seattle's Dear John letter to Kyle Seager. Longtime third baseman Kyle Seager was informed that the Mariners would not exercise his 2022 option in an email from assistant general manager Justin Hollander. And playing professionally, like, I don't know how you were informed or your situation. And again, that's it's minor league baseball. I'm sure there was a sense or a professional way of things that, how things happen, how that went about. I don't know other players that we've had on some of their stories, but typically it's handled in a much better fashion than an 11-year big leaguer and 11 years with one team than an email.
Yeah, well, the last game of the year, you saw them give him a standing ovation, and Donnie came out and took his position at third base, and they kind of gave him the ovation, gave him the respect that he deserved in the stadium to come out and everything. So I think there you knew they weren't going to bring him back. And I think he did too. I think just the way it's coming out for the news with this email, it was an email to Seager?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I think
his representation. I don't know.
I'm not sure exactly how to take this. I'm pretty sure they would have had a conversation with him personally if they did what they did in Seattle by when they take him out the last game of the year to give him that respect for the fans. This might be just getting flipped. I don't know. I was thinking, we talked about
for headlines.
I was thinking about it a little bit, trying to make them look bad. I just don't know, an organization like that to do that to that type of player that has his 10 years in with one team and is still 33 years old. And
we talked about his numbers, right? He still has some years in him. He had 35 home runs, 100 plus, 101 RBIs. He did hit 212. But to put up 100 RBIs, it kind of just and I haven't done a deep dive into his numbers, just a glance at those, but it kind of looks like, well, if you still put up 100 ribs, like you're driving in runs, you don't have much help in your lineup to hit 212 and still put up 100 runs or RBIs and hit 35 home runs.
Yeah,
you put him in a lineup where there's maybe a little more in front and behind him, he may not be a 212 hitter.
Yeah. No, and plus, he was a Gold Glover too.
Yeah, All-Star. Yeah, so, All-Star and Gold Glove.
He's still a good player and has a chance to go somewhere now. And I'm still trying to figure out if the media is trying to make this an issue when it's not an issue.
Well, that's their job, and that's probably a much bigger point to take than it being.
And the only reason I say that is because of what they did the last game. If they were still thinking about it,
the conversation
they wouldn't have pulled him out. It had to have happened before that.
Maybe.
You think about it.
You don't do that without knowing, right?
It was almost like a curtain call for him in the fan. You don't do that not having a conversation with the organization about coming back or, with the option or whatnot. So that's where I feel like, and the way Seager took that and the way the players were saying goodbye, like we saw some of Donnie's posts to him, to Seager, that time. The way those were happening, it was already decided before the season was over. So the way that was handled, I feel like it was handled the right way. And then this was just kind of this is what we're doing, and then obviously the media wants to take it and run with it. And how can I make more money or a story or, that kind of stuff. That's the way I feel. Like, how can we make this look bad some way so it's a good story? Because if we say,
they've done a great job of spinning it and making it look pretty bad.
Yeah.
If this is the case,
but if this is true, then that's pretty shitty that they would release him in an email. But I really don't think that's the case with how they handled the end of the season.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. The other thing that I saw in the news, not related to baseball, was a football score. High school game, Inglewood Centennials beat Morningside, the Morningside Monarchs, 106-0. UCLA game. Commit Justin Martin threw the most TD passes in a high school football game in over 100 years, 13 TDs. And again, a 106-0 victory. And you didn't seem to have a problem with that.
Not at all. What's the difference between the guy that just broke Derrick Henry's record that rushed for an obscene amount of yards? Because you can say, oh, they should have ran the ball. But when you have a running back like Derrick Henry in high school or the kid that just broke his record that can't be stopped anyways, what's the difference? He's probably scoring just as easily running the ball as they would passing the ball. Now, I get the 106. When is it time to take out our starters? That's where I have an issue is this guy throwing 13 touchdowns. Did he play till the end of the game? Then I probably have a problem with that. But if he threw 13 touchdowns in the first half, maybe through the third quarter, okay, I don't have a problem with that. The kid still wants to play. You know what I mean? He's the starting quarterback. But 106, you know, if he played the full game, I have a problem with that coaching staff. When are you going to prepare your backups to be ready to play in a game? What if the guy gets hurt next game and you have to go to your backup? But guess what? This guy plays every single game, every single minute. The backup has no time to come in and step right in. Now, that's information I don't know. Is did he play the full game?
Well, it's 13 touchdowns is 78 points. 78 points. So yeah, he didn't play the whole game. I'm assuming, unless they they obviously probably ran for some. But yeah, I don't know
78.
when he. 13. What 6?
Oh, 6. Yeah, I've 13 times 6. Should be more than 78, right?
Let's get our calculators out. 13 touchdowns,
6.
78 points.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Shouldn't second guess you.
I
was just like 10 times 7 is 70, and then there's 3.
If he's kicking extra points, we got we got to get this coach on the horn.
No, and then he did go for a 2-point conversion. I saw late in the game.
Like, so 78 points to me is still too much. Not too much. You're right. Your job is to stop them. But also, at some point, the coach can make a determination that who we're playing literally doesn't match up with anybody on our team. Like
but they're on the schedule.
That's true. But like this is going to be an ass whooping.
But how cool is it that you have a record?
I guess it's pretty cool. I don't know.
Like, hey, this is the best opportunity to throw the most touchdown passes in
I'd like to hear
history.
Some of our. I know. Pags posted put a tweet out on this that he was definitely not for it.
No.
And listen, you are right. You're not wrong. But there's also, I mean, come on. I'm not against the score. I'm against if this guy played the whole game. Or multiple starters playing.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Like when is it the time for the backups?
When's enough?
When's the backups? 990, 750, 850. When we talked to Leonard Davis and that's
what I'm saying. By halftime, if it's 50-something to nothing, you kind of know this game's in hand.
Yeah.
Your second half should be nothing but guys that never play.
It should be. But I wish I knew the stats of how many touchdowns did he have at halftime.
Right.
Do we need to get to that 3? I'll give you another quarter. I can make sense of that. As a coach, hell yeah, I would. Why wouldn't you want your guy being the record holder for touchdowns in a game?
Okay, but let's say he freaking rolls an ankle also.
But he could have rolled ankle in quarter 1. It's football.
But when
you're risking anything,
when it's 78 to nothing, what's the point?
What's the point?
Who cares about the record? It's not about me. Remember?
No, as a coach, I'm making that decision.
That's what I'm saying.
But my name's not going up there. His name is. I want that for him. I want that for my quarterback. That's the way I'm looking at it as a coach. My name's not going to be up there.
Yeah,
but I want that for my. I want that.
I mean, I get that. I guess.
But I want to know how close he was at halftime.
Yeah, that's
was it
true.
there,
yeah.
or in the fourth quarter he threw for 3 more?
Anybody that has that,
what I mean?
or I'll have to go look it up. I saw the tweet last night. And I was like, man, it's a little much.
It is, and I agree. And that's what I was saying. We talked to Leonard Davis and the powerhouse that Dos Palace has. He said they used to be halftime and they're out. Give guys opportunities to play.
Let us know what you think. Too much? Yeah. Good, bad. I know there's some people saying there should be some talk about how you regulate something like that. I know they do the running clock. They do that kind of stuff. I don't know. And I think it's a good point to, What was the score at halftime? What were his stats at halftime? Are you looking it up right now?
Yeah. All right, guys. I looked up the Inglewood game, and Inglewood had 52 points, 52-0 at the end of the first quarter, and at the end of half, it was 86-0.
Was there anybody even on the field that?
I don't know. I mean, that's the scores that I have normally during my Madden games, but playing on rookie.
So what was the score at halftime?
86-0.
Yeah.
So they only scored, and I know say only, but they only scored 20 more points in the second half. So they let up in the second half.
Again, another instance where the story being presented
isn't the facts. So I have no problem with 86-0 in the first half. Because you scored only 20 points the rest of the game. So you had to have had your backups in.
I guess the question should, more so than the score and Inglewood, is that why does this team have a varsity football program?
So Morningside, I was reading in that as well. They just got their coach a week before the season. So they didn't really have time to prepare, put in the offense, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, you still got to throw a team out there, I guess.
I mean, your 8 games, that was their 9th game?
No. That was their 7th game. I think they were 7-0 when they played another game after that. But I have no problem with that. 56-0 in the first quarter, okay? So they only scored 20 more points in the second.
It's like
or 30.
I mean, it's like the other team gets the ball and you just strip it and take it.
I don't know.
Like, how do you score 56 points in one quarter? How long are the
one
quarters?
One play.
Yeah, it's just like you're just throwing a bunch of humdingers.
That's what he was doing probably. The guy threw 13 touchdown passes. So now I'm thinking he might have just thrown them in the first half. I don't know. We were actually really trying to look up the stats, guys, and we couldn't find any box score statistics on that game. But they only scored 20 points in the second half. There's no way that guy was in there. There's no way their starters was in there. It's just if their starters were still in, they scored 56 in one quarter and then 30 more in the second quarter and then only 20 in the next 2 quarters. There's no way the starters were still in there because by the second half, the Morningside's done. It's 86-0. You think they really want to go out there and just give up? No, their defense really came along in the second half and stopped them to 20 points.
They made an adjustment.
You know what I mean? That didn't happen.
What's the halftime speech like? It's like a little Giants locker room.
There's that one time.
What did Coach Riley say? It's not worth winning.
If you can't win big.
You can't win big. But that
makes me feel a lot better about my argument.
No, yeah, but nobody says that. You just see the score,
and
the
I'm not sure.
outcome,
And nothing against Pags. Pags does his due diligence
he's our guy.
on stuff, but maybe he didn't know that either.
Probably not.
Because Pags, he reads something and he's like, bam, he's in there. But 56-0 after first quarter, 86-0 at halftime. They only scored 20 more points. Now going for 2, that's no. You should.
Yeah, I don't. And the other thing we should have probably looked at is, are they in the same league? Is that a league game? Because I mean, your players.
I think it is a league game.
Players need to get some work. Like that's essentially a bye if you don't play your starters.
Yeah, I mean they have to.
And now it's playoff time.
Yeah,
right. You got to get some reps in. I don't know, but I mean, 56 points in a quarter, and what are they like? 14, 15? How long are the quarters in high school?
12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah, because they're 15 minutes in college football, so I think they're 12.
That'd be a fun game film to kind of go back and get some highlights from.
Maybe we'll be able to see some huddle highlights.
Probably we should look at that.
I should probably look it up.
But you're still in a World Series here, and Chad and I got to go to Game 1. It was friggin' awesome. I've been to the College World Series, and I always thought I don't know if there's anything that can measure up to that. The atmosphere was insane, but there's so many people, from all over the country, and they're not all in the ballpark. You've got beer gardens and a bunch of places surrounding the stadium to hang out at, and that's where you meet a lot of people there. You obviously get into the stadium and you feel that atmosphere. The College World Series was just such a cool event to go to. This, obviously you're in Houston, surrounded by Astros fans, and while there were a lot of Braves fans, it was insane how many people were there, and the building was loud. It was definitely as cool as the College World Series was.
Well, and not only that, the Braves fans weren't treated bad at all.
No, and I was gonna mention that. Like, I feel like, obviously being a Braves fan, wearing Braves stuff, you anticipate
some hazing,
some shit.
Oh, you guys are gonna lose. There was none of that.
Nothing. I don't think the only people that said stuff to me were Braves fans walking by.
Yeah.
As we, going to get a drink or something like that's the only time people commented.
Mm-hmm.
Not one person.
No.
And I was like, there's no way you go to Fenway and that happened.
There's no way you go to San Francisco.
There's no way you go to the Dodgers.
Or the Dodgers for sure.
There's no way you're going to Yankee Stadium. I was blown away.
You know why? Because they respect the game of baseball. I mean, that's where, like, a Boston Yankees rivalry is probably a little different, just with the amount.
Giants, I bet the Giants Dodgers.
It's a little different, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I was expecting different. Because with how many Braves fans were there, when we were at Biggio's eating before the game, Braves fans were everywhere. Astros fans were there. Nobody said anything. Nobody was, the only time there was a little bit of stuff was at the end of the game where some of the Braves fans were a little drunk doing the, inside the thing, where some of the Astro fans kind of were like over it a little bit.
They were chopping.
Yeah. So that was like the only time. And it was at the end of the game when the game was almost over and that Braves were going to win. But, I was even blown away by how respectful the Astros fans were. So,
yeah, we didn't get a ton of footage, and we probably should have, but I wasn't there for Hit or Die so much as I was for myself.
Yeah.
I got what I could, and I posted to Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I do have some clips cut up that'll be on the YouTube channel that you can go check out. I might even put it with this episode. But yeah, it was more selfishly there for me.
That's not selfish at all. I mean, we didn't pay the money. We paid, it didn't come out of the Hit or Die fund.
No.
If it came out of the Hit or Die fund, that we don't have.
We'd probably we'd be walking back still.
I mean, that Uber ride after the game was ridiculous. But
it's a cool being there before, so it was nice to know what to anticipate. But the people were fantastic. The environment was electric. Like, it was loud. It was really, the people were super nice talking during the game. We had some Braves fans next to us and Astros fans, and just everybody was really cool. But the Astros right out the gate, I think leadoff home run. I think Braves took a two.
Braves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Braves lead off home run by Soler. I think Riley hit a double. They took a 2-0 lead.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Morton pitch on a broken leg for another inning was, because we didn't know what was going on live.
And what I was telling some of the guys is the camera's not always on Morton. And what we saw and noticed something after that, almost after every batter, he would take time and walk behind the mound. And I was telling people this. I was like, yeah, you guys probably couldn't see it on TV, but he was hurting, and we could see him being there at the game. We could see how much pain he was in, but yet he still got up on the bump and threw as good as he did for another inning and a third.
It was like an inning and a third, yeah.
So, I mean, and to throw 96 miles an hour on a broken leg is pretty incredible, and that just kind of makes you realize of the competitor he is and the want to win for his team and be there. And then he finally realizes I'm not going to be good for my team if I'm still doing this. So it was sad to see. We actually didn't know exactly what it was, why he got pulled, because at the game nobody's really telling us until you got a text from
I started getting text messages from people about when
what happened.
They'd put it up on the screen, and we saw, because I think I was getting a beer.
Yeah,
and but you couldn't hear there. You couldn't hear the TV.
No,
and then I started getting text messages, broken leg, and it hurts. It hurts the staff, obviously. It was nice to see Dylan before the game.
Mm-hmm.
We tried not to bother him. He was
He's working.
He's working.
Man.
That's his job. It's a big moment. And he saw us, came over and said, "What's up?" And we got to see him after as well. And Mr. Vogt was out in the outfield. He kind of stayed away.
Yeah, he was just hanging out.
Yeah.
He was enjoying the moment. Yeah, he seems like that though, like just chill.
But no, it was nice to see Dylan before and after for a brief moment. And the one thing that I wanted to talk about was, we got to see batting practice, and I just kind of want you to kind of get into what we saw. I think it best come from you. So, and we saw more of the Braves. We saw all of the Braves batting practice, but kind of just get into what we witnessed.
I mean, I've had this talk with my guys at City already about batting practice, and I wish we were closer so I could have videotaped some of it. But again, I was there to enjoy that time and see it. And batting practice is about getting their feel. And I mean, like Freeman didn't hit one ball to the right of center field. Everything was middle to away. Every single round he took, he did not pull one baseball. And there's a reason for that. He's working on something. He's trying to get his swing right to, the shift. They shift him to pull. And look what he did this whole season. He's going the other way, and then he gets a pitch, middle in, and he pulls it. He can trust himself. He knows he can pull a baseball, but he wants to hit the ball the other way with authority because he's going to get pitched that way. Soler was freaking ginormous and hitting the balls to all fields, but he got into him. He was a guy that the first round he kind of was going the other way, and then after that, I think they get like 5 or 6 rounds, and he was just getting after it, which is very impressive. But even Riley, which should be the National League MVP, first 2 to 3 rounds working middle away, pepper in the right center, and then the last couple rounds, they want to let it fly and get after it. Dansby Swanson, you could tell he was working on something. He was a little off, I think. We both were talking about that. He hasn't really been himself, but now obviously he's getting a little hotter. But he has a routine. Everybody has a routine. Rosario was almost doing the back leg. He'd come up on his back leg
He was like standing straight up.
He was doing drills like during his batting practice to get his
He wasn't
body
striding.
forward. Yeah.
Like he was just going right to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, all you young kids out there that just want to get into batting practice and try to hit home runs, especially when you can't, and you guys aren't home run hitters because you're not home run hitters. Let's be honest. Look yourself in the mirror and say, am I a home run hitter? No, you're not.
My home run hitter today.
So
not today.
When you get into batting practice, you are supposed to be doing something with batting practice. It's not just getting in there to hit home runs or try to hit the ball as far as I can. That always comes with the last round. That's what I tell my guys. The last round is for you. You can get after it, try to hit the ball as far as you can. Your first 3 rounds or 4 rounds, however many you guys have, you need to be working on something, whether it's hit and run round, move them over, score them, all that kind of stuff. You need to do those, and you need to take that serious and worry about getting a job done and doing something for your team, because those are the at-bats and those are the swings that are going to be the most important in a game and most utilized. How many times are you going to utilize your home run swing in a game? Not very often, maybe a 2-0 pitch, maybe an 0-0 pitch, but it's not going to be every time you're going to be trying to hit a home run everywhere, especially when you're not a home run hitter. So when the big leaguers are doing it and they're actually doing something with their approach, and it's cool because there was a dad next to me talking to this kid about it too, which I really loved. He wasn't talking about, he was like, look, he's not trying to hit the ball in the air. He's trying to hit the ball up the middle. And I was like, God, thank God a dad is talking to his little 10-year-old about the right things to do rather than, oh yeah, look at this home run and blah. No, like that's not, these guys are grown ass men. And me and Jake are looking at these guys, and if you aren't in the weight room getting after it, you have no chance to play at the next level.
I think you brought up, well, one, I can say this. Freddie Freeman in batting practice, I don't think he hit one ball over the fence. He might have hit one oppo. I think
he went, I'm trying to think if he went dead central and then he just missed the Crawford box.
He might have.
Yeah.
But and everything was line drives.
Mm-hmm.
Riley didn't until late.
Yeah.
Albies, Rosario, none of those.
By the way, Albies, yeah, he's 5'7". He's built like a brick shit house. He just got Popeye forearms and he's shredded. So
you brought
get in the weight room.
You brought up one, Austin Riley.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you said like, that dude's 24.
24 years old.
And there's guys in, college, junior, I appreciated, just thinking about that, you can't help but appreciate how God gifted these players are.
Yeah.
How big,
well, just think of it. With COVID and everything happening, there's guys that sat back 2 years that are 24-year-old guys
as old as that guy and have
in college baseball
and have zero chance of being that kind of player.
Yeah. No, and that's what I mean. If you're striving to be like that, first of all, you're not working hard enough. Second of all, you're not in the weight room long enough. And third of all, you just don't want it. You don't want it as much.
Watching them work, it's no mistake these guys are in the big leagues.
No.
Luplo. Watching Dylan be businesslike, it's not a mistake.
Mm-mm.
It's not a mistake these guys are where they are. Dylan's where he should be.
Yeah.
Loop is where he should be. Marcus Walden is a big leaguer. He's as professional as they come.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus. All of them. Judge. It's not a mistake. And it's not just because. They weren't just they're blessed with certain abilities and size but even that's not always enough to get you to the big leagues.
But Altuve is not blessed with size.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But the dude has 23 homers in the postseason, second of all time in 77 games. Manny Ramirez has 29 in the 111. The dude's 5'6", but he's in the weight room. He's strong. He's physically fit. His swing is consistent. He works at his craft. He doesn't just go drink beers with the boys, make TikToks, and think he could show up at the ballpark and just be good. None of them do. They're good because they work at it and they want to be better. Each one of them want to be the best player to ever play the game. And you can't just think you're going to be that and show up to the ballpark. It's not going to happen. But that should start in high school. If this is what you want to do, and I'm being honest, if this is what you want to do,
well, for some it's too late.
You have to commit to the weight room, to the work ethic, to drills, not playing in games. You have to commit to the grind. Going out and playing 4 games on the weekend is not the grind. The grind is going and do the things that suck. Like going to hit off a tee, 100 swings off a tee. That sucks. Who wants to go hit a ball off a tee that's not moving 100 times?
But
that's what you need to do.
Do you think you would benefit more from 2 straight days of just offense and defensive work, or playing 6 games in a weekend?
Work. The work. How are you going to get better? How many balls are actually hit to you in a game?
How many swings do you get in a game?
Not a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
You need to work. You need the reps.
Not that the games aren't
Everybody's
bad.
saying reps. Oh, they need game reps. They need game reps.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but how much? How much is too much?
But are you really getting enough reps in the games?
No, you're not.
Like I could put a pitching machine up throwing 85. I could put it at whatever you want. I could put it at a slider. I could put it at a curveball. I could put whatever you want. Yeah, I know it's not an arm, but you're seeing velocity. You're seeing movement. You're seeing spin. That's what a lot of these guys, and not a lot of them, but they're like, oh, I want to see an arm. We're hitting off a machine. How many times do you watch the BP in here and then the guys got the machines out there and they're hitting off the machine?
A lot.
Yeah, they do hit off arms in BP. I get that. But the early working stuff comes off a machine. It's it's something. It's velo. You're seeing a moving baseball. That is a rep. Just because it's not an arm doesn't mean that it's not any different, or it's less of that, or it's you're seeing a ball, you're seeing movement, you're seeing spin, and you're hitting it, and you're working on your swing. You can get more out of that in practice than you can in a game. Because you can swing at a pitch and then you can stop, talk about it, figure it out, go on. In a game, you can't do that. We're not making in-game adjustments pitch to pitch with the coach or, You have to do that by yourself. But if you're not used to doing that by yourself in a cage, in a surroundings of you and your hitting coach and understanding your body and what went wrong, then you can't make those pitch to pitch adjustments in a game. Same with fielding. You know, getting ground balls. I can get one ground ball a game. Oh, but you're getting in between innings from the first day. What, him throwing a 5 mile an hour ground ball to me maybe 3 times before the pitcher has to throw down? Where are you getting your reps? No, let's be honest. You just want to get seen by somebody. That's all it is while you're playing these games and travel ball and all this. You just want to be seen. You just want to be seen. But guess what happens when you're seen and you have to go somewhere and then put in the work? You're not ready for it. You're not prepared for it. Everybody can see you anywhere. Everybody posts their cages, their work, and all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you what, if I'm a Division I hitting coach or a Division I recruiting coordinator, and I just see your game footage of your good at bats, I'm just gonna be like, well, I don't want that. Show me your full round in the cage off a tee. And if you can't hit a ball 8 out of 10 times to the back net, then your swing isn't consistent enough. I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see your swing where I can break it down. I don't want to see your in-game swing. There's so many people out there that in-game and the work is different. It's totally different. I want to know what your work ethic is like. Are you just going to show up for game day? You can't just show up for game days. You think these big leaguers just show up for game days? No. It's just frustrating, you know? Like, and you told me, you're like, you all right? You know, when we were watching bad practice, you're like, you okay? It's because I took it so personal, the work and the grind to make it to that level. And I unfortunately didn't get to, but my stats weren't not good. That's the one thing I look back on. I was like, you know, if I wasn't good, like if I hit 220,
it'd be even worse.
No, then I would almost be okay.
Really?
Yeah. But I was good. I have the numbers to prove it. Everywhere I played, I had good numbers. That's why it's harder for me
to accept
the fact that it was my time. You know, because I was never told you weren't good enough. I just was, there's just no spot, supposedly. You know?
Hey, that happens too.
Yeah, it does.
I love that. Every bit of that. I hope people heard that. You know, again, I know it always comes to us bringing up the travel ball stuff because I don't think travel ball's not bad. It's not.
No, because they still get practice and work in, but there's too much emphasis on games.
Yeah, exactly. You need to take that work that you've been putting in and go apply it to the game situation. Of course, it's just if that's all you're doing, that's not the right approach. Stop doing that. You know, play games, sure, but take a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks to go dial in some other stuff. And then maybe in August, play August.
But also, we've talked about this before. Know the recruiting calendar. What am I going? Am I going to Arizona to play in a tournament where there's no recruiting? It's a dead period. So what are we playing for? I could easily take this time to rest.
Save some money.
Save money, but rest. You know, in one of my classes I'm taking right now, we were talking about one of the biggest causes of people stopping the sport they're playing is burnout. And I'm just like, 100%.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah, it's easy.
I mean, I couldn't imagine playing baseball year round since I was 9 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad we didn't have that.
Oh, I'm so glad we don't have that.
Because I would have burned out. I don't think my dad would have pushed me to do that, but because we played fall ball, but it was like a month and a half. It was once on the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, you did other things.
You enjoyed your childhood.
Yeah.
Be a kid.
Yeah, but we also, you know, it's just a different time. I'm glad. I'm actually thankful for the times we grew up in, you know, like and I'm sure people older than us are the same. You know, no cell phones, it was just different times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where sometimes I feel for these kids because there's so much distraction.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get pulled away or get caught up in things that aren't important.
Yeah.
It's really easy.
And that was another thing was
so when you bring
up was technology.
You bring up Riley, and it's like, that's impressive. That's super, like a guy like Bryce Harper, how he came up.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Or like when we talked to Labby about York.
Yeah.
Just how much of a grinder he is on draft day. He's a first rounder. He doesn't even have a draft party. He was at the yard.
He was working. He was playing. Yeah. He was getting working. Love it. No, I love it. And again, it's not a mistake. That's why I love seeing guys like Loop and seeing Marcus and now Dylan and, the other guys. You see Frazier have a hell of a year with Pittsburgh. It's not a mistake, the success these guys have. For Brink to get back in affiliated baseball. It's not a mistake. These guys work. They work. They want to, like you said it, I think you said it real well with these guys want to be the best. That's what they think about. They don't think about the other stuff. And I think with high school kids, they obviously tend to mature over time. But for some kids, it's too late. For some guys that have that dream, it's too late.
Yeah.
Back to the World Series. We got a little sidetracked there, but that was great. Dylan gets to start for Game 4, and they didn't announce it, and they talked about on the broadcast about just wanting him to get like a night's rest. That if they announced it before, his phone would have been blown up, and I'm sure it blew up. I'm sure it's blown up this whole last month of his.
I know it was
season.
weird seeing people that never posted about him before posting all this stuff.
It was everywhere.
Yeah,
it was everywhere.
Good thing we've been there.
Yeah,
for him, We aren't one of those out of the nowhere. Here we come.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the plan was not for him to go probably more than an inning, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it after it happened because I think that the way it happened was he was going to go through Alvarez, period.
Get to Alvarez and be done.
Even if he went 1, 2, 3, he was probably going to throw to Alvarez to start the second and then be done.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work out, the way they had it planned. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's getting the start. He's going to go like 4 or 5 innings. Like, no, he's not a starter. He hasn't thrown those innings, even in AAA, to go that long. No, his job was to be an opener pretty much and
tried to have a clean first inning and
move on to the next guy.
Yeah, get it to right. And
and some pitches were close and the double play ball.
Yeah. Dansby booted that ball and then I thought the first one to Alvarez was a strike, and you get behind an account where you made a good pitch. It's tough. It's and again it gets a guy like that who can beat you in a lot of ways. You got Bregman, which is a big one. That's your boy. Yeah. But it was just cool to see, man. He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
And I'm super happy for how this has all played in the last month for him. Because he really does not only deserve it, I mean, he's earned this.
100%.
He's earned every opportunity he's gotten. It's not a fluke. And what's funny is I was talking to my dad before the start, and he was like, I bet he's really nervous on. He's like, I don't know. He's not that kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't think
he wants the ball. Like, no, I'm not nervous. That's not his nature, And it was really cool to see, the fact that he didn't get out of there. It doesn't matter to me. Like, that's something that'll never be forgotten, and he can have with him the rest of his life.
And they won the game.
They got the dub, and I mean, listen, that was a game. I think if the Astros don't pull this thing out and come back, that's a game they're going to look at like, man, we had
bases loaded, 1 out,
numerous times to score some runs, and they didn't. They left a lot of runs on the table in Game 4.
Yeah,
and for back-to-back home runs to bite you and win a game, assuming they don't come from behind here and win this thing, Game 4 is going to be the one they'll look back at and be like, shoot, we had some opportunities there. Last night, Game 5, I think you saw where losing Charlie Morton really hurts your staff. And, it was 4 1/3, and we were watching, and it was, 7-5 at the time. And they had 7 runs on 7 hits. And I was like, 7 runs on 7 hits? Like, how many walks have there been, or errors? And through 4 1/3, the Braves had walked 6 batters. You can't do that not to the Astros.
Not in the big leagues.
No, not. I mean, that's 7 runs on 7 hits. Like, what is going on? We were trick or treating, and to see 6 walks and 4 1/3 is like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, you're not going to win games that way. And I knew that the bullpen game 5 was going to be rough. And we talked before we left to go trick or treating. Is like, this is going to be a game of who can score who can score more, because it's not going to be a pitching matchup or pitching duel type game. And I thought, you know, looking back at how Dusty handled the lineup, I thought was beautiful. I think he had that was the way the Astros lineup should have been maybe earlier.
Yeah, it was a good changeup. So we'll see if he sticks with that game 6, which we'll probably see Dylan in game 6. Honestly, I know he came in after Fried in this first game, so we'll probably see Dylan again. But to all you people out there that don't understand baseball, you know, even though Dylan didn't finish that inning, he was in there for a certain job, and it wasn't to go a complete game, or you know what I mean. Yeah. So
it wasn't a typical start.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't a traditional type of to start. It was It's kind of like what the Dodgers did game 5 against the Giants. Yeah, it's kind of same move there. You know, going back to Houston now, and you got Mac. I like the way the Braves pitching lines up for 6 and possibly game 7.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it. It's in Houston. You know, and I think the off day we talked about really helps after a game like last night. You know, with the Braves only needing 1 win, you see what the Astros are capable of. It's a really good offense. That's a really good team.
Yeah,
with some really talented players. They would scare any. I mean, it's a scary team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's gonna. The key to game 6 will be Max Fried.
Max Fried, and that there's a DH.
Yes,
that also helps out.
Yeah, because
because they're both into their bullpen deep. They have their starters are
Will
spent.
Smith didn't pitch. Luke Jackson didn't pitch. Matzik didn't pitch last night, so they're going to be on 2 days.
Yeah,
I mean, they're going to be fresh. So I really think that the Braves need to take care of business in game 6.
Yeah,
I think game 7 is a scary. If they win at home, and now 2 in a row, there's momentum completely shifted, and from 3-1 to 3-3. Listen, they're professionals, and this is why we talked about people, you know, that are fans don't grasp why they're not as angry as you are. Because maybe they are, but they're human. They're not robots.
If they're so mad about a loss, they're going to take that with them to the next game. And in a sport like baseball, when it's a game of failure already, you have to be so mentally tough to move on that it's ridiculous. Like, if you don't understand that, then you just need to shut your mouth, because the game of baseball is so tough as it is that these guys need to be able to move on. And that is one of the huge aspects of the game of baseball that is something that these young kids need to learn how to cope with. You need to move on. You can't sit on that strikeout in the first inning with 3-4 bats left in the game. You got to move on from it. It's going to happen. You're going to strike out. Nobody bats 1,000 in their career. Nobody doesn't ever strike out. Even Tony Gwynn strikes out. Not a lot, but he does. Pete Rose, not a lot, but he does. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to be able to move on. So as a fan, you have to be able to understand what these guys are going through, which you can't even understand, by the way, and be able to move on with them and say it's okay. It's going to happen. Are you going to be mad if they lose the World Series? Yeah, you're going to be mad they lose the World Series. They're your team. I understand that. But do you think you could go out in front of 50,000 people screaming and try to get a base hit with the runner on third and less than 2 outs? Not many.
From a guy throwing 97 with, much.
With an 85-mile-an-hour slider?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Let's be honest. You cannot do that. I'm just talking about the typical fan. No, you can't. So it's okay. It's just a game.
Yeah, I mean, I have had people texting me if I'm okay. How you doing? How you handling this? You guys are going to take care? And I'm like, there's outs to get.
54 more outs.
When there's no more outs to get and they've won, I'll be happy. Then you can text me how I'm doing. Until then, there's too many outs left to get. There's no game clock. You have to get all the outs. That's just how I think of things.
Yep.
If they lose, yes, I'll be disappointed if the Braves lose, of course. But what am I going to trash them for being where they probably shouldn't have been, and where 6 months ago nobody said no gave them a shot in the world to be here? No. And I'm excited about what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, if that lineup comes back with Acuna, it's going to be scary.
And Soraka, and you got
make
a couple moves, and listen, I feel like Game 6. I still feel like we're going to win. The Braves are going to win, get it done. But if they don't, you cannot not tip your cap to the Houston Astros. Mm-hmm. I know people hate them with a passion,
which is fine.
Yes, but down 3-1 to win 3 straight against the Braves of a really good bullpen, and if they can pull out Game 6 against a fresh, healthy, good starter, you have to tip your cap to the Astros. Mm-hmm. You just can't. Yet if you don't want to do that, then you just don't disrespect the game. You can be mad your team lost. I will definitely be pissed my team lost, but I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna be mad at them.
No. You kind of just, you got to give credit where credit is due.
Hey, and I really hope for the sake of the Astros that Urquidy's throwing tonight or tomorrow night or tonight. It's going to be tonight when we throw the episode out, but for Game 6.
I know
he said Garcia.
It's Garcia as of now. It's even
but Urquidy only threw 16 pitches and he's got a day off. That could have been a light bullpen day. Yeah,
there's no playing for tomorrow, I think.
They have, it's win or go home for the Astros.
Right.
And the Braves at least have 2 games to win one.
And they've got 2 good pitchers lined up. And their bullpen's fine. The Braves pitching wise are where they.
But that's what I'm saying. As the Astros, you got to throw your dude Game 6.
I agree.
And hope we get to their bullpen Game 6.
And
so then Game 7, it's
Garcia's
just a
good.
free-for-all.
I mean, he
is. But Urquidy shut him down.
He's had his moments in the postseason.
And I think with Urquidy's changeup, it gives it a whole different level.
Well, he shut him down. Was it Game 2?
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what they do.
Yeah.
But I think Game 6 is going to be a key, and I think Max Fried is going to be, as far as the Braves go, can he shut down that offense? He wasn't outstanding in Game 2. And he didn't have a great start in the NLCS either against the Dodgers, but again, another guy that we've seen what he's capable of. He's a really good pitcher. And, I'm hoping the Braves can pull out Game 6. Just be done. Yeah. Not go to Game 7. That would be
awesome.
But it's hard not to argue with seeing Dusty Baker win. Again, as a fan of baseball, I respect that. And for what he's done in the game, how can you be mad at that?
Can't.
So, we'll see. Game 6, Tuesday, followed by Game 7 if necessary. Couple things, though. In Game 5, did we see the end of the DH?
I hope so.
The MLB, they're going to have their collective bargaining this offseason, and one of those measures is likely to pass, and they're saying the universal DH is something that's going to happen. And I know you're all in on that.
I'm all in. And don't get me wrong, this is what sucks is I was a player, and don't get me wrong, I could play first base. I was really good first baseman. But when you're in a National League, a lot of guys will put an infielder at first base, if that makes any sense, which it doesn't. It gives up that spot for a guy that could hit in the lineup, for your 9th best hitter or whatever that can only play position. And I feel like you go to a game, you want to be able to see hitters hit and pitchers pitch. And with no DH, it has to give you the opportunity to, in the National League, when are we going to hit for our pitcher? When are we going to have to make a pitching change?
Yeah, you have double switches. You have.
Yeah, rather than, yes, I get it. There's more of a managerial pressure on a National League manager than American League because of the switches and what you have to do and how do you have to manage a game. But it's better for the game of baseball if you have the hitters hit and the pitchers pitch. It's just, that's how it should be. It's just, That's the way I feel. And I feel like, if this would have happened, and I'm not saying it would have prolonged my career, but it would have gave me a better opportunity because I was with two national teams.
It's another opportunity.
Yeah.
It's another way to break in a lineup.
Exactly.
So I agree with that. Carlos Correa said, to me, that's not real baseball. I want to see real hitters out there.
I agree.
And that, I mean, maybe it sounds kind of harsh, but pitchers who likes seeing,
who likes seeing
an infielder pitch?
Exactly.
I mean, it's fun to see Luplo do it because he's a friend, but that's
you don't go to a game hoping that it's a blowout.
Yeah, Brett Phillips is out there.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's fun to see.
And even though Greinke came in and pinch hit and got a base hit yesterday or whatever, I get it. There are pitchers that could hit in college that were dual position guys. I understand that. Then have them work on both. They can be a DH. You know what I mean? If they're one of the best 9 hitters, then yeah, let them be one of the best 9 hitters. But for the most part, they're not. So, I mean, yeah, it's just another opportunity for somebody to get an opportunity.
Yeah, and I know we like, I would say we're more traditionalists as far as baseball is concerned, the way the game's played and how you play it. But
think about it. How come from Little League on, high school, college, why do the coach get to decide if we want a DH, and they always pick to have a DH?
Well, yeah,
you can pick at that level.
Yeah,
but why do I not want my PO hitting? Why? The National League does it. Why do I not want the PO hitting? In college, why do I not want the PO hitting?
Because he's hitting .71.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
So why do we want to see that at the professional level if we don't want to see it anywhere else?
I don't disagree with you. I'm actually in favor of the DH. And that's what I'm saying, is us being more traditional minded, with manufacturing runs, thoughts on the shift or how you use your pitching.
Yeah.
Most traditionalists, I would say, are against the DH. They want the game to stay.
Yeah, but you can still play small ball with a DH.
I agree. I'm just saying that's the thought process, I think. But I'm with you. I would like to see it also. I don't have a big beef with it. And I think it's going to change. I think, a lot of the reports are is that the last night in Game 5 is the last time you saw pitchers hit. For now.
Good.
But we'll see. This offseason is going to be interesting with negotiations and what comes up of that. More things to look forward to in 2022. Field of Dreams game is also coming back. It's been announced a while back, but Cubs and Cincinnati Reds will be playing in 2022, which will be awesome. I thought it was great watching that. Mm-hmm. But some changes that you and I have talked about, and we'll end it with this, that you and I would like to see. And we've kind of sprinkled it in through the live episodes recently. The wild card series changing to a 3-game series. I think that's something, I don't know, it won't happen, it sucks, but I think people want to see that. I think more people would want to see that. Mm-hmm. If somehow word got out there or it traveled out there, I think most people would want to see a 3-game series for the wild card. And then you mentioned 7 for the divisional series instead of 5, and then 7 for championship series, and obviously 7 for the World Series. Now you're extending the games.
Yeah, but why?
You're adding what?
Who made the decision 5, 7, 7?
You're adding 4 more games?
Like, that just doesn't make sense.
You're adding 4 more games to the season.
And if you get to that.
Yes, if you get to that. 4 more games. You see, because people might bring up, well, look at the Dodgers, how they looked gassed. Their bullpen looked tired. That's all on how they were managed.
Exactly. And they're in the National League.
And they're in the National League.
And if it's so, imagine a DH throughout the season. And I know in 2020 there was only 60 games, but the pitchers were fresh. And I know they were fresh because there was only 60 plus games. But imagine not having to use your guys as much because of you have to switch. You need a pinch hitter. You need to do this. You need to do that. No, you just have a lineup and you have your pitching staff, especially during the season where you don't have to burn guys as much.
So to those that argue that the health of the players, which is, listen, I don't want players getting hurt. Of course not.
Yeah.
So what if we played 6 less games? Do we need to play 162 games?
Yes.
What's more fun to watch, the regular season
No, we need to
baseball
play 162
or playoff baseball?
You can't mess with that.
Why?
Why would you get rid of games?
Would you rather watch regular season baseball or postseason baseball?
Postseason. But if you're gonna bitch about 6 games,
but if they're not gonna make
then
any
you're
change,
not a true fan of baseball.
but if they're not gonna make any, it's not about that. It's about the health of the players. If the argument is the health of the players, right? That's why they haven't played more games in the NFL. Health of the players, right?
I guess.
So if the health of the players is the concern, then take off 4 games of the regular season and add 4 more to the postseason.
I would say just minimize spring training.
That's an option too. Why not?
Do they really need to play spring training games?
As long as they do?
No.
Maybe that's the question.
Maybe they need to work on fundamentals more and practice.
Some guys probably do need spring training.
Yeah.
Do they need it as long as they get it? Is maybe a better question.
They're in there February.
And that's a great topic to ask, Loop and Marcus and, Dylan, all these guys that we can talk to. What would their thoughts be on that? I feel like the postseason baseball we've seen has been awesome.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather watch that than regular season games. And it's kind of why nobody watches a lot of regular season baseball.
Well, then let's do what? What's 162 split in half? What is that? 80? What is that? I don't know. I'm not fucking 81. 81? Let's play 81 regular season games and 81 postseason games.
Okay.
I'm just saying, it's postseason time after the All-Star break. Let's let shit get real. I don't know. I'm just saying, the health of the players aren't the issue, I feel. Like that's with the technology we have, with the ways of staying healthy.
So expand the roster.
Brady's
a little bit.
50 years old.
Why can't you expand the roster?
I'm good with that too.
Make it.
Why can't 40 guys?
You're adding 4 more games, so expand the roster.
Why can't 40 guys be on the roster? Why can't it be 30, 35? Why can't you add pitchers in? I agree with that. I'd much rather see expanded roster than less games. And that's just because the tradition. It's 162. It's you grow up 162. Like
yeah, but it used to be less.
I know when Babe Ruth hit.
But
expanded in 57.
You can do it. It can be done.
Or 61.
I think a bigger playoff would be better. Not bigger, but more games.
Yeah, but we're not even talking. It couldn't even. We're talking about 6 games that might not even happen because they could win 2, and then the other guy could sweep into 4.
Yeah,
you don't even get to the 3 games. You know what I mean?
And so open up 2 more spots for pitchers if you give them 2 or 3 more position spots or roster spots to fill up.
Make it a 30-man roster. Make it a 30-man. It's just 5 more players. That's it. It's just 5 more players. But you know how much more you could do with your bullpen and add a long reliever, a start. You can add a starter that's a long reliever or something. That would make it more interesting, even.
And you're not leaving games on the table for revenue and ticket sale or whatever it is.
Exactly.
I think everybody wins. Just a thought I had. And then you mentioned the 3-3-1 playoff, and I kind of thought, well, you know what? I think for it to be fair, go 2-2-3. So the home field advantage goes, you get the first 2 games, off day, like they already do. Mm-hmm. Go to the road for 2 games, and then an off day. So the off days are the same. You get 2 off days. And then the last 3 are where you started.
Yeah. And I think I agree. I like that too. But talking about fair, the away team's only getting 2 games out of 7. That's the only reason why I like the 3-3-1.
And so if you did something like that, I think you'd need to I change the way they determine who wins home field advantage. Right? Because it's based on the All-Star winner, right? Whoever wins the All-Star, whatever league.
Not anymore.
It's not anymore?
No,
they changed that?
Now it's the highest seed.
record? Okay. I didn't know they stopped doing that.
Yeah, because remember when we were buying tickets, if LA won, it was going to be in LA. If the Braves won, it was going to be in Houston.
Because the Braves won the division, though. Right? Well, the Astros did too. Yeah, the Astros had the better record. That's why it was in Houston. The Astros had a better record than the Braves. Both division winners.
Yeah, but then LA, division winner, would have got home field.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it would have been in Atlanta.
No.
Yeah, Atlanta.
No. If the Dodgers won.
Oh, the Dodgers beat
Atlanta, it was going to be in LA.
If it was LA and Houston is what you're saying.
It was LA and Houston because they had a better record. Yeah, I was looking at tickets.
Oh, okay.
That's why Nikki was like, I'd rather go to LA.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, that's why they were waiting for the winner because it wasn't going to be in Houston if LA won. It was going to be in LA. So I don't think they go off the All-Star game. I think they did that for like 3 years, but then the All-Star game hasn't been taken serious, like, because then you're talking about getting hurt.
Yeah.
They're making the All-Star game a purpose, so they were trying to win it. They could also cause people for injury. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I like the All-Star game being free and like fun.
Yeah. Maybe expand that roster.
That should be that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like 2-2-3. But 2-3-2.
I do too. I mean, then you really have that even makes it more worth winning your division and being in the top seed. Is you get 5 games at home in the World Series. Or 5 games at home each series. If you do all of them.
If you do it that way, yeah.
2-2-3, you do all of them that way, you get 5 home games. So that puts more of an incentive to not only win your division, because like I said, the Dodgers didn't win the division and they still would have been the first seed because of the record for some reason. I don't know how that worked, but that's how it was. So that will make the season maybe more interesting. You got to win this amount of games to win and, be the higher seed. You got to have more wins on the table. I don't know.
Yeah, there's things I'd rather see them change than like pitch clocks and
yeah, I don't care about the
like distance between the mound and the plate and the base sizes. I don't care about that shit. Let's make I like this. I want to do this kind of stuff. I like the game the way it is, but maybe build on the postseason format.
And nobody's bitching about the time in the postseason right now.
No.
They're not like, oh man, this game's so long. No, it's intense. We're into it. We're in this game. Even the game 1 we went to and the game 2, the scores were almost identical and the game got over almost an hour before.
Yes.
It's just the way the game goes.
Yeah.
Because we were like, shit, we rather would have been in game 2.
Yeah, game 2.
And we didn't get home until after 1 o'clock on game 1.
Yeah.
But like, it's baseball, man. And I get that. The 162 games, it can get boring, especially when there's not a purpose or something on the line. But to get 5 home games in the postseason, there's something on the line from 1 to 162.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would rather see other changes made than some of the in-game changes they're looking to do. And I think it'd be fun to expand the playoffs a little bit. It was fun to watch in 2020.
Yeah.
And I think it would be great to continue or build upon that moving forward. I doubt it'll ever happen.
Or make it like the Super Bowl. You have a venue, like make the Super Bowl is at this place.
A neutral site. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 2020. That was awesome. There's no days off. Just played 7 games.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, home field doesn't necessarily matter anymore. It's how your fans travel.
Exactly.
So,
which I liked.
There's things that'd be fun to talk about. Again, I'm sure none of it'll ever happen, but
nope.
Just ideas. If you have any of your own ideas, please let us know.
Let Jake know.
Hit us up in the
Nobody
comments.
lets me know anything anyway.
Message us on Twitter at HIT.OR.DIE podcast, on Instagram at HIT.OR.DIE. We were going to close the store. We're going to actually keep it open until Wednesday night, November 3rd. So if this comes out, it's Tuesday. The store will close Wednesday night at midnight, November 3rd. That's it. No mas. We might open up something in January for hats only, maybe a shirt, but nothing crazy. So if you want something, now's the time to get it. For those that have got stuff, thank you. We appreciate it. And Game 6 of the World Series. I think it's a big one for the Braves. I know that they're
a big one for both.
Both, obviously, but I just I feel like it's kind of a. Even being in the driver's seat, I feel like it's a must-win.
It's a must-win for the Astros because if they don't win, they're gone.
See, I don't process what the Astros need to do.
Yeah, well,
other than we're talking on here. my thought process is what the Braves got to do.
Yeah, well, if the Astros lose, it's over. So if the Braves lose, it's not over. They still have Game 7.
I know.
So it's must win for the Astros.
But I'm obviously, but I don't care about the Astros.
Yeah.
So
I don't care about you. Hey, but guess what? This guy took the free towels in Houston, so I'm not,
Yeah, they walked in and they were given the rally towels.
Yeah, don't even go there.
So I took 2 of them, as a matter of fact, and I gave them to my kids. So
yeah, big Braves fan over here.
yeah, I mean, I won't. I'm not gonna go there. You know what? I'm not gonna go there. I'm just gonna hope they win Game 6 and take my bracket and run.
Yeah, you better take your bracket and run. My bracket was gone after Game 2 with the wild card.
I'll never forget the phone call after Game 1 of like the divisional series. What was I thinking on the Brewers? Why didn't you stop me? Anyways, thank you everybody. We love you. That's episode 137, the Hit.OR.DIE podcast.
Hit or die.